Hey, in part 5 we're gonna continue the breakup. We're also gonna work a bit on our hairline. So I'm gonna start out by hiding the backside. Let's get rid of these names. It's actually matched into what they are: back, sides, and top. Let's do the same for here. So that's gonna make it a little bit easier to identify each group. So backside, let's hide it. Let's get rid of topology. One thing that's pretty annoying right now, like if we're a bit zoomed out, you can see because the cards are closer to the head, we have a lot of clipping from the camera. We can fix this by lowering the focal length a bit. So let's say 60, maybe 40. And you can see now we can see stuff a little bit more clearly. Maybe let's try 30. I think that's a good length to work with for now. Let's go back to 40. This way we don't have that much perspective and not too much clipping of the camera. Break up sides, right side. And let me just select the green cards. Arrow up and let's hide them. Let's focus on these ones first. So again, I'm just trying to get them a little bit more close to the base cards. And you can have some spacing in between. Doesn't matter for this layer. Actually, you do need some spacing. Like if everything were to be really tight on the cards, it would look a bit weird. Because hair does have some depth to it. Like by having some spacing in between, we're gonna get a more soft and fluffy look to the hair. So we wanna try to achieve that without being able to tell that it's hair cards. Again, I'm using the soft selection here. This way it's just really easy and fast to manipulate the cards. So let's make sure we have no clipping with the layer underneath. I think we can taper this one a bit. try something like this. Let's also move it more down the center. So now let's fix the other cards. So at this point, because we're doing the green ones last, it's saying, alright, all the green cards are gonna be on top of the yellow ones. Again, this doesn't need to be perfect, we can keep some spacing. This is why you don't want to finish off the whole breakup layer before cleaning up your base. Because the base is gonna determine a lot the breakup, how it looks and how close the cards should be. And doesn't matter, we can put the yellow on top as well. Can have some more tape. We can toggle the curve visibility just to make sure that we aren't selecting them anymore. It's gonna make everything a little bit easier because we have less curves to see. So something like that, I think. So you can see all the space in between. Let's see if it's a little bit better now. That looks a lot better right now, as you can see. We still have the flow breakups in there. Gonna need to change them a little bit. But I do actually like to have a little bit more distance in between them maybe. Like it's giving some nice depth. Just disable ray tracing really quick. Let's keep it on. Let's see how the depth looks in Unreal Engine. Yeah, we do have too much. But the first breakup, you can see that's looking natural and it's blending together all the cards really well. And right now I cannot really tell where there's a card and where there isn't a card. So it's coming together as one piece, which is good. I think maybe at the base we should have moved the hairline forward a little bit here, but we'll see how it turns out. We can always change that later. And again, for the breakup layer, I'm not gonna worry too much about intersections and making the topology perfect and all, because intersections matter less. The less visible your alpha is, it's gonna be less noticeable. Like if you look right here, we have some intersections, right? Actually quite a lot. And if we take a look, you cannot really notice those intersections because the alpha is just, it's subtle. If we pay really close attention, we can start to see some. But the intersections are that little noticeable on this layer that it's definitely not worth the time to go in and to match all the edges up of all the other layers that we're gonna be doing. So I'm just doing it for the base layer. This also helps making hair a little bit less of a horrible job. Because if you're gonna match it up for all the layers, it's gonna take so much more time. So one thing that I want to encourage is that you try multiple ways. Like here, we went in and just did everything by hand, one by one. But we can also do it different ways, and you look for a way that you like the best. So let's say we select the face, do the magnet. Now we can select all these curves. Actually, we need to do them one by one, I think. Yeah, one by one. Just select the points and slide it just a little bit. The same here. A little bit. Now disable the magnet. We can just take it like this. Put on normal and we can scale it up. Actually, let's keep it on component and just rotate the gizmo a bit. Now orient the card. So that would be another way of doing it. And you just want to see which way you prefer. And of course you can come up with your own way to manipulate the curves, whichever one works the best for you. But generally speaking, I like to just... Oops, we messed the camera up. So let's go to perspective. Let's put this at 0. That's fine. But generally speaking, I like to just work with by hand and do with the control vertex and not by snapping things. Now let's get the green cards in. let's start moving those around. I think that one's looking pretty nice already. Let's take this one. As you can see, we have a lot of space. So let's fix that one up a little bit. And you can see making hair is not that difficult actually. Just gotta go in with a plan and a lot of structure. And that's all there is to hair, a lot of structure. And just to clarify something, let's select these. Let's say the neutral color. Here you can see, now we can basically see nothing what we're doing. We're working blind. I don't know why. Quite some time I see people work like this, and I don't think it's a good way to work. You cannot really visualize what you're doing. But to be fair, you can see what the hair will look like better in Maya. But I think it's so much easier just to clearly see how the texture is laying on top, and do the export, and then go to another program to see how the hair's actually looking. Because a lot of time when people see all the like the rainbow colors, they get confused. I got really confused as well in the beginning, like, why is everything looking like that? It's impossible to see how the hair looks, but as you can see, it's better this way. Again, I'm not too worried about intersections on this layer. The thing that I'm most worried about at this point is having good spacing in between the cards. Once we finish all the breakup, then we can come in and we can kind of look like, are there some areas where the intersections is too bad and it's really visible? Then we can come in and fix that. Now I'm looking at the base here, how it's really contradicting with the breakup. So let's take the breakup. Let's match the curvature a little bit better. Because remember, the base, they should be our guide for our flow. We don't want to break it too much with the other layers. I think now it's flowing a little bit better. So let's do an export. Let's just check it out how it's looking. And you can see it's starting to look pretty natural already, the transition. So that's good. And I think that's looking pretty good for now. Let's check Unreal Engine. I want to make this a little bit more light. Let's take this light and crank it up a little bit. Maybe 200. The same for this one, maybe 180. That's looking pretty nice. Like here, I cannot really tell whether it's a haircut or not. One thing that we have a lot is repetitiveness though. Let me look for an image. Yeah, this one's pretty good. As you can see, like here we have this trend that's going like this, 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 and this. And it's really straight at the moment. And it's good that we have some. But if we look in the reference of hair, you can see that there's one like this that's going like this. And there's a bit more like of a shape, but that's because it's a little bit less tight, so that's okay. But if we look here, you can see that's like breaking up. And here there's like a thin one, here's another one, but they're meeting together. So we want to make sure that we break these shapes up a bit, that we add some details. So it's gonna look less repetitive. As you can see, the same here, we have like these shapes. And if we zoom in this one's a little bit smaller and has some empty space and it's breaking up and coming together. So we do want to try to make that a little bit less repetitive eventually. But I think we can achieve that by the flow breaks. We can add some of those and maybe make them a little bit less thick, so they're thin, right? Then we can have them go like this and have some empty space here and have them meet together again. But that's gonna be for the next layer. But I'm just thinking ahead already. Like, is the breakup fine and what do I need to fix afterwards? But for now it's fine, the breakup. It's a good base. Let's take all these cards. Select them to a mirror. Now Ctrl G, let's call this left side. Let's move them out. And as you can see, that's pretty good on its own already after just a mirror. Now we just need to come in and slightly adjust the cards. That one's really thick. Some weird stuff. So the tape is messing up after the mirror. It's inverting what we actually need. So just pull that down again, the width. Same for this one. I'm not sure why it's inverting it, that's quite annoying. And I do also want to select some cards. So let's select a few. And I don't want to select every other card, just sometimes a card. Now I want to go to UV editor. I wish we could just click a button here, it'd be easier. And flip, but that's annoying, we need to do it one by one. So flip, select the UV, flip. Flip. And just by doing this, we're also gonna get rid of some of the repetitive. Because as soon as we flip it, the texture is gonna look a bit different. So that's good practice as well. make sure that the width don't mess with. You can see that we have a pretty nice smooth flow. Let's take a screenshot. You can see how all the hair's flown like this. I think looks pretty nice. So let's see how this is looking. I think this looks really bad right here. It looks like stuff's coming together perfectly symmetrical. So let's go here, see if we can spot it. Let's discard. So let's just go in and make sure to flip this one again. Let's edit the placement a bit. Let's make it go here. Same for this one. Let's edit the flow a little bit. Maybe we can also flip this one. Again, I'm pressing 7 just to see a little bit more detail. Just gonna show the lighting. Yeah, I think that's gonna look better. Do an export. Yeah, now it looks like it's not exactly the same and they're coming together really odd. So that's nice. So now we just need to cover the top and then we're done with the first breakup. And you can see the more layers we add, the more realistic the hair is gonna look. It's looking a lot more fluffy and soft right now, which is nice. So let's start making the final breakup layer, the top one. So let's select the card. Again, arrow up to select the whole group. Just move this to the top group. Just going to reduce the curve by a lot, then rebuild it. And drag it out, and I think this is a little bit faster than messing around with all the points, trying to get it working. So I definitely messed up with the hairline. Actually should have put it way more to the front. Let's put these ones a little bit closer to where they should be. I don't want to place them all the way yet where the hairline is, as we're gonna need to put another layer here in front, but it needs to be pretty close. And because this one's a lot longer, I'm gonna need to add extra divisions. So let's see, let's do something like maybe a little bit more. 32. So let's see where we actually want the hairline to go. This is just kind of placing the cards and moving them around and seeing how it looks. Let's do a mirror. Now let's select all these cards. Let's just fill them up. You can see sometimes you need to adjust the orientation. I'm just putting these in to visualize the hairline. I'm gonna delete them again later. These should probably go a bit more to the front. To the next spot. Just have ray tracing for now. Let's just make a quick paint over in Photoshop. So actually we can take a camera. Let's call this side. And let's take a side shot. Try to match the camera angle a bit. Now make sure to lock the camera and we can go back to main. Now anytime we can go back to side and you see we have the same view again. So now let's take a screenshot. Photoshop. Now let's go save as. Let's put it in a Mama folder. Call it site match up. Now let's copy our head. You can just select the image here, Ctrl C. Now Photoshop, Ctrl V. Let me just quickly get rid of this. Make a new layer. this border. So just transparency. And we're gonna try to match the two heads together as close as possible. So I think something like that's pretty good. Let's warp this image a bit. Just mostly trying to match up the scalp. So something like this. Now we can visualize the hairline a bit better. Actually, let's go back a bit. Let's not warp the image. As you can see, her head was looking really strange. So something like this, I think. Let's just get this area and we're gonna Ctrl G to paste it. Like this, black and white. Let's make this black and white as well. Create a new mask. Now let's just make sure that we can visualize some eyebrows on her. That can help quite a lot. Let's match the color a little bit better, the value. I think that looks pretty natural. Can get rid of this one. Let's group this, call this eye. Let's just take a brush. We're gonna start painting the area where the hairline should be. The hairline should be here. And here I'm gonna put it like this, because these are gonna be different cards. Same for here. Here's our group. Here's our other group. So again, we have the side here, the back side, and the top. Now let's unhide the image And we can see we're actually pretty good on the hairline. Except for the front, we need to adjust that. Just kind of toggle them and start getting an idea of how you want to do things. Like for this, I'm already looking at the next layer, the cover layer. There's gonna be a card here. That's gonna fix the hairline here. So then we can fill up this empty space. But for this, I definitely want the breakup to go all the way to here. So we need to fill this area up with the base cards. So this is too far. I think maybe we can push it a bit. Because again, the heads are not exactly the same. Just a little bit shorter. We're gonna have the baby head, so yeah, let's push it to the red line for now, and we can always adjust it later on. So let's get rid of these cards here. Need to move these up a little bit. And I wish there was like a reduce for the front part. That'd be really nice. That we can just click it. It's gonna shorten it here. But we can't. So maybe like this. And doing the hairline's always a little difficult. You're gonna need to go back and forward and move things to just see when it looks natural. You could also, before you start putting in any hair, do like a poly paint to define where you want the hairline to be. It can help a bit. But I prefer to just move cards and look. Let's take a new screenshot. You can see it's actually pretty nice now. So now we have a little bit of a problem. If we go to this and toggle curve visibility, we need to adjust these base cards. And we spend a lot of time matching them up with the topology. Now if we move them forward, right, we're gonna break all the work for the top cards that we did. So instead of doing that, I'm just gonna model them out with hand for a bit. So toggle geometry edit. Let's hide the breakup. see. Alright, let's move all those. First, let's just give them a different color. I'm not sure if I actually wanna move this one forward. Yeah, I think I'm not gonna do the outer ones. Give them a brown color to visualize that we don't need to touch them. So we just have 5 cards to fix. So the easiest way to do this right now is just to toggle geometry edit. Let's go in solo mode. Let's delete these parts where we just have it for the roots, because we don't need them anymore. And you want to do control backspace, otherwise if you do just backspace, you're gonna have some verts. If you do control backspace, you see it get rid of the vertex. So now let's just take this one, Control E, and we're gonna extrude it. Remember, we want to have some spacing in between the base and the breakup. So maybe something like this. Now connect. Put 2. So like that's good. Now to make it nice and smooth, just go over it and edit the edge flow. So now we have our hair card extended. Now go to the UV editor. You can see that the UVs are messed up. Let's just select these new faces, give it some mapping. Make sure these are the front parts. I'm gonna match them up as close as I can. Just a V. That's fine. Now the last thing, select them. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Now we put them at the wrong side, of course. Just move them down. Now one final straighten. Now you can see that we have a proper haircut again. So now let's do the same for the other ones. Again, look at your topology and let's make them match. I'm just gonna match this middle edge to the vertex over here. You can see how easy it is to quickly make some changes to your hair if you need to. But you wanna take consideration, now that we hand modeling the cards, it's gonna be a lot more difficult to edit them with the curves. So if we go to a curve, you see that it still works, but it's a little bit weird now. So you can see here everything's fine. But anything that we have in front of the curve, we're gonna need to edit it with the hand. Especially now if we go here and we do like an inverted twist. And that actually works. Well, that's nice. All this stuff, it works pretty well still. But just take in consideration that now it's a little bit more destructive what we're doing. So let's say you're working on a project and maybe you're still gonna do a lot of changes to the hair. Maybe it's worth it to actually move the curves again and match the topology up again. But most of the times this should be fine, making the hair a little destructive. I think we can also reapply a new curve to it, but I haven't tried that. But I think we should be able to do that actually, if you wanna make sure you can edit them with curves again. And let's make sure these are all underneath. Get a scalp. First let's fix the UVs. So I'm not sure if we can do a transfer UV with the plugin, but let's give it a try. So select them. Let's try transfer UVs. You can see it doesn't work anymore. So what we can do is we can select this. I think we have the same topology. Let me think a bit. Okay, so it still works because we have the pretty much the same topology. So mesh, transfer attributes. And make sure you're only doing the UV set. And your sample space is topology. Now just apply. And you can see that we're getting the same UVs again. Here we don't have the same topology, so it's not gonna work. Same topology. And the same. Let me see if I can see what's different here. more policy here. 46, 44. Right there. Okay, let's finish this up. Mention a little bit now. This one. Get rid of. And I think it's the edge that we had for the roots, and we forgot to delete it. So now the topology is even, I think. Yep. So now we can apply it, and we have our UVs. So let's get the sculpt. So hide the breakup. So it's this one and this one. Just gonna hide them for now. Actually, let's hide the others. I'm just hiding the ones that go on top first. So now we can fix it. It's moving a little bit weird. I don't know why. Let me figure this out why. I think it's because we transferred the UVs. It's just undo, undo. See if it's still being weird here. This one's moving fine. This one's fine. This one's fine. Oh, this one should be weird. Yeah. I'm not sure why it's doing that actually. Let's get our UVs back. As you can see, it's changing the shape as well, which is odd. So I think we cannot fix that. Just my stuff. So to fix that, let's select these two and edit. Make sure you have delete by type and not delete all by type, and do the... Let's try non-deformer first, and that doesn't work. And the delete by type history. Now what this is gonna do, now if we select the curve, you can see that it no longer works. But now we can move the topology fine again. So again, let's hide all the cards here. Now let's just first do the orange ones. Make it a little bit less thick. We can also select the head, do this, and now we can use the quadro tool. You can just paint this haircut on here. This is just gonna make it stick to the scalp better. So let's do it. Where's that one? So now let's fix these. You can see how the intersection is fixing itself once we align the edges. Make sure the roots are aligned closely in the scalp. I think that's fine. Got it very good. So I'm gonna fill this area up with a little bit, I think. Just go to side. Just get it very good back in. So let's check the reflection. So the reflections are fine, yeah. So you can see how we filled the area up quite nicely. But one thing left is this cut is fine here, but we need to stretch it out to fill this little triangle out. Let's take this one. That's very good. I'm just gonna take this in. Next root. And I'm just trying to make the transition smoother right now. We have this big step, so I wanna make it go like this. Maybe we can push this one forward a little bit, so we have a nice smooth shape. I'm still paying attention to the edges. Try to align them. I think we have the same position, yes. Again, I'm sure we can transfer the UVs. So add this to our, I call this the bar thingy, shelf. Let's change the UVs a little bit because we have some empty space here. exclusive for Discord. Again, next step we're gonna move this over here so we avoid corners and we have a nice smooth shape. Again, if the UVs are not transferring, the topology isn't the same. You can see how the hairline's now starting to look more natural. So we're just scooting this one over a bit. And let's try to match the topology up again. I think we can put this here. So now we can put this edge like this. Now we can connect this. Do it like this. Now one last edge here. Just move around the things so we get the line better. So you can see how this looks a lot better than this. Here we just have an awkward angle and here you have this angle. So try to blend it together. So let's do the same here. Actually, this in scope a bit better. You can pay attention to the intersection here. Let's line them up. So let's press off the bulk, I think. So that's the next one. You can see it looks a little weird because the breakup is not following the guide too good with the mirrored cards. Let's get rid of the breakup again for now. That's pretty good. Make just sure that's symmetrical. So one thing I do not like is dip. Prefer to have it go like this, like a nice rounded shape. So let's see if that's the breakup or the base. So it's the base. Just make sure this is the most. This spot's the most at the front. And there's some weird stuff going on here. If we take a look, that's the shading. So let's just do soften edge. Same for this one. I think this one as well, maybe. And that were the rounded ones. This one looks messed up as well. So that's fine. And one more thing that we can do to change the shading. Right now, if we look at it like this, you see all these harsh lines. This is because of the shading of the cards. Toggle geometry edit and undo geo. And we can make this all smooth by doing a sphere. Just match the rotation. And try to match the scale as close as possible. So something like this. Let's get rid of this. Just have them go like this. Now smooth it out and convert it. And we're gonna take this and put it in custom normals. Now we can hide it. Now we can do an export N. Now if we import this, it's gonna take some time. This is just gonna import the mesh that we're importing and exporting all the time. So if we solo this, you can see now that all the cards, they have the same shading of a sphere. So you can mess around with custom shading and see if you can get it to look better that way. Let's take a look in Marmoset. Now you can see everything has the same shading. So maybe now if we change the roughness, it will look better. There's some stuff that we're gonna mess around with in the end. I think this can look quite nice if you do this in the base. So let's say we have this smooth shading in the base. And then in the next one, the breakup, we don't do it. And then we can create some interesting shading. But we'll see at the end. So I'm just gonna do one more export. This time export, not export N. Now we're gonna have our old shading back. Like I said, the ending is to mess around with the shading. Let's get a breakup again. And that's it. In the next part we're gonna work more on the breakup. We're gonna start with our ponytail.